sometimes the world of hot rodding just doesn't go as planned. My plan, as I said earlier, was to get the shifter in, which we got that done. And, well, the shifter handle. But that wasn't a big deal, right? We bent it a little bit and ran out of acetylene, but, you know, it worked. Then I was going to pull the brakes apart. Shifter being done, car's ready to roll. Got to address this. And I don't know if y'all can... Oh, she's a little stiff from sitting around. There's a... Oh, can't see it. Let me readjust. Lug nut missing. And the reason for that is when I tried to put these lugs in here, these were so short that it just stripped it out. So I'm going to take these out. And and I'll show you this drum, why it's causing me issues. But this drum has a lip in it, and that's causing me to have to use spacer plates to get this wheel to work. I'm going to see if I can find another drum. If I can't, then I'm putting longer studs anyway, but I'm going to try to find a different drum so I don't have to use a spacer plate. But I'm going to use longer studs anyway because these have to be replaced. So I bought some real long ones. So if I decide to drag race this, 14-second quarter-mile car, at least I'll have the longer wheel studs in case I decide to go into the 11s, which, yeah, that's not going to happen. But anyway, because I'm just going to drive this car. She's just a street driver. 290 V8 is not exactly going to bring me into the 10-second range. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's the plan. Pull these out. Try to find another drum. If I can't, either way, I'm putting in longer studs, and we're going to get all 5 lug nuts on this car. Wow, I'm a little impressed. I hate to go ahead and find another drum because this drum was perfect. And I don't know if you can see that, but these brakes are new. Everything's brand new wheel cylinder, fresh grease on the axle. This is good, right? Let's see if this is even working. Oh, there's a Black Widow. Well, okay, can't have everything, but there's a Black Widow right there. I'm going to shut the camera because I don't want any of the, animal rights people getting on me, but we're going to take care of the Widow. Just for the record, one spider was harmed in the filming of this, but in retribution, I found Dad. I found all her egg sacs, and I found Dad, and she had killed him. So she killed her husband, and, so she got the death penalty, just to let you know. But anyway, all this looks great. I am going to try to find another brake drum. I hate to do it. I'm probably not going to be able to anyway, but the way this is designed is just so super funky. But either way, we're going to put in the doodads, but I'm going to take 5 minutes and go look around the yard and see if I can't find a brake drum that will work on this that won't be so weird. But needless to say, the wheel thing didn't work out because I have to replace the studs. And I bought studs. And the closest ones I could find, the original studs, and I said it, and yeah, I won't even bother saying it now. But anyway, the ones I bought are a little too big. And basically they were 625 originals, and the new ones are 675, or 875, which is 11/16. So they went from 5/8 to 11/16. So I don't know why I did that. So I got two choices. I can either order the right studs, or I can make the holes bigger. Well, I've already made one hole bigger, but I fachi-quad it, but it works. But I'm not happy with it because I used a step drill, and it only goes in a 1/4 inch, and I really needed to go in like 3/30, so 3/8 of an inch. So it's a big difference between 3/8 and a 1/4. But for now, I'm going to probably go disc brake. In fact, and I'll mention this again, if you all know where I can find a disc brake setup that won't, like, break the old wallet, let me know. Put it in the comments or email me. I put that in the, if you look at the whole comment area where, I describe, under the video area where it describes, what the video is about. You can look in there and that'll show my contact information. You can email me. And I think there's an email address there. And there's a mailing address. In case you just want to give them to me and send them my way. That'd be cool too. So there'll be a mailing address to mail stuff to me if you want to. I don't care. If you just want to mail a letter saying I'm an idiot. Whatever. But there'll be an email address that's probably faster that way. And then comments. You want everybody to know you think I'm an idiot, right? So anyway, just look in that area and you'll find my contact information. Be patient. I don't always check my email. Sorry. But I will. Sometime within the week or month, I'll get back to you. But yeah, if you got a set of disc brakes for this Gremlin, I would love to find a set. If it's $1 million, yeah, well, I probably can't afford it. But if it's reasonable, maybe I can rob a bank or something and get them. It's a week later, and weatherman said it's going to be cold and snowy today. I just want to let you know right now, I don't like his attitude. But here it is, and he was right for once. Usually he's not right. If he says it's going to rain, it won't. If he says it's not going to rain, it will. But today he's right. It is colder than breaking up with your girlfriend via email. I mean, it is cold today. Got a hat going on, little side things. Big fat gloves are probably not going to be able to use these very long because you just can't grab stuff with them, But anyway, it's a week later, and I finally got, I got to show you. Hang on, don't move, stay right there. Doesn't look like much, I know. But, just hang on a minute. Ooh, isn't that pretty? It is a 43/64 drill. And that's what I needed to make these studs work. This thing was like $30-ish. And I will probably never, if I ever mention to you all that I am going to buy an electric vehicle, somebody stop me. I can't remember to plug the camera in so that the battery won't die when I'm filming. Fortunately, I was looking at the camera for once, and I noticed it go low battery and then gone. I think it got the end of that last little bit, but in all reality, I should have charged it up. All week while it's sitting in the house so I can download everything. I should have just left it plugged in and let it charge. But no, I didn't. And it lasted, 40 seconds when I turned it on. So if I ever say I'm going to buy an electric vehicle, as much as I would love to own one of those fancy Teslas, don't let me do it, because I'll forget to plug it in. And the next thing you know, I'll be stuck on the side of the road. I'm lucky I remember to put gas. But they got the little gas gauge thing, ding, 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 tells you the little light comes on. Well, not on the older cars, but on the stuff I drive daily. So it reminds me to put gas. Do they have a little light, ding, 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 plug me in when you get home? You shut it off and it goes, plug me in! Unless it has that, I'm not buying electric. Although I would like to see how that, I've driven electric go-karts and they aren't all that, not go-karts, electric golf carts. And they're not overly impressive. But supposedly these 40 electric vehicles like the Tesla, whatever model it is supposed to be the bomb when it comes to acceleration. And I'd like that. Just not have to depend on it for anything, No, nonetheless. Forget it. We're not here about electric vehicles. We're here about Gremlins. Which, I got one. And it is duly named because she is a mischievous little bugger. You know, nothing is going well. I think I made the mistake. I almost could guarantee I made this mistake. Things were going smooth. And I said, things are going smooth. Duh, don't ever say that. Yep. So, not going smooth anymore. But I got the drill. I tried to, and I'll show you that. I may have already showed you this, but it's a week later, so I might repeat myself. I did try drilling it with a step drill, and I had to drill it from both sides because step drills are shallow, and made the hole too big, and I only had maybe 1/8 of an inch to grip onto. Not good, not good. So that's why I stopped and decided to purchase this 43/64 drill. But for those of you who may consider putting studs in your car that are slightly larger, or if you got a wallered out hole and you need to go to the next size up, and you want to go with these well, this is the drill, my bad. If you want to go with these 7/16 studs, then you will need a 43/64 drill. Hey, and if you need one, I got one. I got one you could borrow. But anyhow, had a busy week as far as pulling parts for people and shipping stuff out, so that was a good week that way. Didn't have a lot of time to work on the old Gremlin, so I'm going to stop talking now, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to get started. Just like the first one, I'm going to do one, because where am I? Oh, wait, here I am. One. Here we are. I'm going to do one, because I've already got the one in, and I used a step drill for that, but I'm not comfortable with it, and I think I explained all that last week. I just don't remember. So we'll say it again. Why not? But it's working, and I may end up putting a dotted weld on it, or I may just pay the price of it spinning on me someday. But nonetheless, we're going to do one more with this new drill, see how well it works, because I only want to have to weld on this as little as possible. Now, I do think what I'm going to do is once we get the studs in, I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to put the spacers on it, and then I'm going to put a dot of weld to weld those spacers to the drum. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you're trying to line up the lug nuts, a lot of times those spacers will shift and you'll get one lug nut will be catching the edge of the spacer. And I don't want that. So I'm going to do it all right here on the bench, and then I'm going to tack weld the spacers into place. You don't have to put a lot, just enough to hold them into place because they're going to be torqued on anyway. But just a little trick that I've come up with to do that. But I'm going to get these lugs in here first, then I'm going to put lug nuts on them, and then I'm going to put dotted weld. Okay, nothing fancy. In fact, while I've got these off, I'm going to go ahead and clean. I'm going to do one. Let's do one. See where we end up, and then we'll go from there. Come on. Here it is. Hammer. I need to clean this bench. Sure. And we're just gonna. Woo! I must admit that whole pipe situation makes it easier. Whew. Getting kind of warm here. Have to take the old hat off. All right. Definitely not going to work. I'm going to bring this over to the drill press and drill this out with my brand new 43/64 drill. I don't know. Do you guys want to see me drilling on the drill press? Probably not. So I'll spare you that. I'm just going to put it on the drill press, and I'm going to hit these bolts, this hole, and we'll see if it works. Ooh, baby, baby. That looks perfectamundo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it right here. And I'm going to get my handy dandy tool, basically a socket. Oops, got to get my hands in there. Socket on there. Put a little washer. And a backwards lug nut. See if I can't get that started. And that just helps keep it straight. So now, I'm going to put a, gotta get her to catch. There we go. Might have to hit it a little bit to set it, which is probably what I'm going to do right here. Just give it a little walloper. Alright. That'll get it started. And then we're just going to sock her up. She might pull in with this, she might not. Usually what I end up doing is I'll sock it up a little bit. Of course, the battery dies. Of course, of course. Ooh. She pulled in all the way on her own. Usually I like to give it a little tappity tap with a hammer to seat it in, so I'm going to go ahead and set it over on the pipe again, just to give myself a solid backing. And I'm just going to slide her over that. Just give her a quick little, just to set it in there, make sure it's all the way in. And that will finish that one. Biggest thing is you just don't want this to start spinning in there when you go to put a nut on or take it off. This is the only one I'm a little worried about. I may end up putting a dot of weld on that. But we're going to be putting the spacers in here. And like I said, I'm going to clean this up before I put any more studs in there. I'm going to go ahead and pop these three out now because I know my system's working. Pop these three out. I'm going to clean this up, get it ready for welding, finish putting the other studs in, and then put the lug nuts on and dot the welds. Yep. The hub started coming out. Oh boy. Okay. So let me get some nuts on here. Since I've got the hub out, it's going to make it really easy to clean this surface to put the spacers on and weld them. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this area up with a wire brush so that I can weld to it, and that ought to be easy. Like brand new, but it won't look like that for long if I don't do something with it. Here's the problem: it's like 20 something degrees in here, but tomorrow is promising to be a better day. So what I'm going to probably do is let's get the welding done. Now if it makes it hot enough welding, we'll go ahead and hit her with a little bit of paint because I want to make her look good, and last long. And these drums are in really nice shape. The brakes look like brand new. So I do want to paint it. Maybe I'll put these even in the house for the night. and get them warmed up, and that way we can go ahead and spray them a little bit in the morning. And it's supposed to be a little nicer day tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get these welded up like I said, and I'll show you how I plan on doing that. Now, when you put this on here, you can see that this can shift one way or another and not allow these nuts to go through. So we're going to get all 5 of these, and we're going to put them in here. This one's got a washer on it that won't come off, but that's okay. I could probably put 2, but I'm going to put all 5 because I want to make sure that these plates are not going to interfere with the lugs at all. And I think that's how I stripped the other one, is because I'm just catching the edge of this plate, and it was causing it to strip out. So, we'll probably have to fast forward this. All done, ready to go. Let's go ahead and put the drum back on. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more grease to this. We're going to pack this. The back one looked good, but I'm going to pack this front one again before I put it in. There she is, and then we'll go ahead and get the other one off and together. We'll pack both bearings together. That way, you know, get your hands dirty just once. And she'll be ready to go. I did want to stress the importance before we start is make sure you have a clean rag before you start, you know, because you don't want to get any dirt in the bearing. So a nice white clean rag is, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Y'all have probably seen me dig into this grease can quite a few times in the videos, if you're one that watches a lot of my videos. But this bearing, it's not bad. I mean, it's got quite a bit of grease on it still, but I figured, you know, the back one looked really, really loaded. This one is kind of loose, you know, and it's got grease, but it's all, you know, just there. And I want to go ahead and repack this. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of this grease. I got gloves on, you know, because what I'll usually do is grab a big lump of grease and you just kind of put it in the palm of your hand. Now, I know they make tools for this, and, you know, great, but this is the old school way. And you just keep pressing it in, pressing it in, press it in, press it in, press it in. And you just keep doing that until you'll see the grease start to ooze through the cracks of the bearing. And I'll show you what I mean as soon as I get it to do so. Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so I'll be lucky if I can see it. Okay, there it goes. So you start going, and you'll see this grease, see how the grease is disappearing? Because it's going inside the bearing. And I'm not putting the grease through, but if you look, you can see it starting to come out in this area. So, and that's what we're doing, is we're just keep on going, and you just turn the bearing a little bit to one corner at a time until she's going into all the crooks and crannies and crevices. Sounds like a Thomas's English Muffin commercial. All the nooks and crannies. Okay, but I promise you, you don't want to eat this. Probably won't be all that tasty. But, you know, keep you regular, it would. It'd be just all lubed up. And anyhow. And that's all we're doing. We're just going to keep on. So you can see that all that grease that was in my palm a minute ago is about gone. And I'm still not but halfway across this bearing. So you can see she was kind of dry, right? So we just keep on going. Keep forcing that grease inside that bearing. Sometimes you'll feel a little bit of grit coming out of the bearing too, and that's good because you're forcing all that gritty grease out of there. Of course, you want to make sure you take that out. See, all of that grease, that big handful, all of that is just about gone because it's all inside this bearing. So you can tell that this bearing definitely needed packing. And I don't trust the machines. You know, I've got one, believe it or not. It wastes a lot of grease because, you know, you're squirting it everywhere. A lot of it gets stuck inside the machine itself. But I like to do it this way because then I know I've got it in there. And of course, I'm going to make y'all sit here and watch for a minute because my hands are too greasy to touch the camera. So I'm going to make you painfully watch me pack this entire bearing because, you know, I can't shut the camera off. And, well, of course I can edit it later, but I might not. I might just let you suffer right along with me. And I've done this many, many times without gloves, and you can do it. You know, you just get really, 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 really greasy. But see all that grease is in there now? I can look at this side, same thing. You can actually watch the grease as you're pushing it. You can actually watch it once you get it full like this. You can watch it start oozing out of the corners of the bearing. So it's very satisfying just because you know without a shadow of a doubt that there's grease in that bearing now. So here we go. Just about done. And I probably, just out of stupidity, I'm sitting there turning away from the camera. Don't ask me why, because I'm right-handed, so I started turning that way. But there we go. She's just... Sometimes I'll leave a big blob on there. That just kind of helps to put a little more on there. And that's pretty much it. Now I went ahead and put that bearing in where you couldn't see. And the reason I did that is because, you know, my hands were really, really greasy. I couldn't really touch the camera. And so I just basically, when I was done packing them, I just stuck them in there with a little extra grease. So I have shed the gloves at this point, and we're going to put these on. Now, this is actually, when I took this apart, I actually had a, well, for starters, there's a little keyway on your washer here. And that keyway has to fit into the keyway on the spindle. For those of you who don't know that, and you put that in there, and that keeps, you know, the wheel when it spins, that washer keeps the bearing nut from backing off. And then we get our bearing nuts, and this is fairly critical. If you over tighten this nut, you will have, you know, your bearing is going to burn up basically. And I had this thing, when I pulled this off, it was on there. So I'm not sure who did this job before me, but I was a little bit glad I ended up doing this because I didn't want to smoke those bearings. So I'm glad I never took this for a long drive till now. It didn't seem like they were overly tight, but see how it's wiggling? Okay, well, some of that's because of the drum, actually, but the way to tell is you're going to turn your wheel. And honestly, people may disagree with me, it's better to have it too loose than too tight. Too loose, your bearing is going to wear out prematurely. Too tight, it's going to blow the bearing. It's going to heat it up, and your bearing is going to disintegrate. So too loose is better than too tight. But because I've had trailers that you have play in the wheel like this, and they're fine. So you don't want to over tighten, because I've done that. I've socked them up to where they're a little bit snug moving. And unless you're setting new bearings, yeah, you don't want to do that. So anyway, let me get my. Hang on a second. As you saw when I put this together, I used channel locks. Well, these are Knipex grip locks, but same thing. Basically a channel lock plier. And I just get the nut, and I'll turn it. And you just keep turning this thing. And I don't put a lot of pressure on it. This one actually seems to have a stop on it. It just won't even tighten. So that's not the norm. But you'll see once I get the wheel on there, there's no play on that. And I just snug it up. Like some guys will sock it down and they'll back it off a little bit. This particular one, it doesn't have any play right now, and there's not any resistance on that. I mean, the brake's dragging a little bit, but that's pretty much it. If you get the wheel on, she's going waka waka waka. She's obviously too tight. I mean, too loose. But if you sock it up and you can't turn that real easy, then I could take the drum. I probably could take the drum off and showed you that way. But let's go ahead and do that just for kicks and giggles. But see how she's turning a little bit? I could loosen that up, and she'll turn even looser. See that? So I'm kind of glad I did that, because now I can feel that's good right there. Because if I tighten it up anymore, she starts to put some pressure on that bearing. So we're going to just tighten it down a little bit, feel that pressure, and just back it off a tiny bit. And there we go. Nice. Alright, then we're going to get, I don't know, it's like an instructional, right? Then we're going to get our little crazy nut. I guess that's what they call it, a castle nut. That's a crazy nut, right? Because a castle nut is actually a nut that looks like a castle. And what you're going to do with that is it's got those little spiny doodads in there. See it? And those spiny doodads are to hold your carter pin. And you line those up with the hole in the spindle. And so you just kind of put that in there like so. Yeah, can't see nothing. I gotta get my glasses. It's so much more helpful when I can see what I'm doing. There we go. And usually what I do is, there's two sides to a carter pin, but I usually only take one side, and I'll bend that side up. And if there's room, I'll leave the other side straight. You can bend them both if you want to. It don't really make no difference. And then I'll get a rubber mallet, give that what for, put it on there. I might even, sometimes you can use just a backward screwdriver, depends on how hard it is to get on there. And if you don't want to ding it up, you can always, hit them in the corner there. Always use the right tool for the job, so we'll do it this way. That worked out so much nicer. And like I said, be sure to use the right tool for the job. And that way you won't booger up your cap either if you got pretty caps on there. You just do the edges. Ta-da! That's that. If you'll notice, I went and used the other side, because the first part of this video was actually the driver's side. This is the passenger side. And the reason I did that is, just because. That's that one. We'll put the drum back on. We're going to do the other side, and we're good to go. Before I put the wheels on, I'm going to rebuild these drums. Time to put the tires on. It kind of sounds like that Dunkin' Donuts. Time to make the donuts. Some of you might remember that. Well, now we just throw our wheels on. And oh, come on, baby. There we go. These are Unilug. Not my favorite choice in wheels. But with these, you have to, the lugs do the centering. So you got to get one on there. And then you got to center it. So I usually try to get them all down close. These washers, they like to walk down the lug shaft. You see how much easier it is to get the wheel on? You know, if you can't see the lugs when you're trying to put these lug nuts on, it can really be a humdinger to get everything lined up, and then you end up screwing up your studs, and yeah, it was a nightmare, especially with these wheel spacers. There was only a tiny bit of lug sticking out, so I went this route. Let me get my impact, and we'll drive these in slowly. I'm going to do the top one first. I'm just going to run it in there slowly so I can hold the washer. We'll just get her down there. We'll rotate this a little bit. There we go. And what I like to do is just get them all started. All right. Then we can just zing them down. Yeah. Gotta love these Kragers. Your socket gets wedged between the wheel and the nut. You can't hardly get a thing out of there. So you gotta play the wiggle game. Taking these, you don't want to tighten any of them until you get them all lined up. There we go. Now, that's it. So now we're just gonna sog them down. Well, not that one yet. Batteries. Gotta love them. I gotta torque these anyway. I'm just trying to get them all down. And then we'll put, I want to try those little torque bar thingies they have at Harbor Freight. Time to change the battery. But you get the idea, right? I mean, you know, it doesn't, we'll torque them down and call it good. Well, I think maybe the camera messed up during that for whatever reason. I came over and it looked like it was already off. But nonetheless, what kind of English is that? Nonetheless, whew, and I got college. Anyway, tested the gears, first, second, third, fourth, and reverse, and they all work. No weird vibrations. So the next step is get her off of this lift, pull her on outside. I got to put some cooler off stuff in there because there's no liquid at all inside this motor right now, other than oil, of course. But yeah, there's no antifreeze whatsoever. And so I've got a leak in the radiator because I think I told you about that. I dropped a screwdriver while she was running, and it went down, and a fan caught it, and wham! Smacked it right into the radiator and put a tiny little leak in there, just enough to piss you off. So I'm going to flush this radiator out. I'm going to pull her outside with no water in it. So I'm not going to run it very long, but we're going to watch this thing pull out of the shop, okay? We're going to watch that happen. And once I get it out, I'm going to pull the thermostat off of it, and we're going to throw some vinegar and some, why can I never think of things when you got to think of it? Baking soda, that's the word I'm looking for. Baking soda and vinegar. That stuff will clean an old gas tank like brand new. So I'm going to try it on a radiator. If not, I got to go to town later today, and I might pick up some radiator flush just to make sure. But we'll see what kind of yuck we get out of this radiator and out of this engine. Because remember, if you go back to like when I was swapping the engine out, I had to actually take a screwdriver and stuff to clean all the crap out of the engine. So I'm thinking there's some of that still left in there. I never got up inside the heads or anything. So we're going to flush all of this out of here today and see if I can't get this cooling system up to snuff, if you know what I mean. And then we'll make sure the radiator's not leaking. If it is, I may have to change it out. And I'm going to try some of that Porta-Seal, I call it. It's just a little tube. I carry it everywhere I go. In every vehicle I have, I'll show you what it is when I do it. I'm going to put some of that Porta-Seal stuff in there and see if I can't get this radiator to stop leaking. That stuff works great. I've put it in a car and had it last years. What it does is it just goes until it finds air. When it hits air, it just hardens up like cement. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in there, see if I can't do the redneck remedy on this and totally recore the radiator with the stuff you pour in there. And if that works, great. We'll drive her until the radiator goes, and then we might have to get another radiator. I've got 350 of them out in the yard there. Just got to find one this one just fit real good. So we'll try all that, and then hopefully before long we'll be taking this thing for a ride. But it's getting out of the shop finally. It's going off the lift right now. And get her outside, and we'll play some more games with it. That'll allow me to pull my other cars back in, and we'll just do what we got to do. But let's get started again. This is not the get started at the beginning of the video. This is the let's get started. I'm talking enough about what I'm going to do here in the now that we got the whole wheel situation and brake situation and stud situation all settled, and I've ran it all through the gears. Hopefully the camera made it through that. I don't know. It looked like it shut off on me. If it did, I'm sorry, but we just ran through all the gears, and everything seems to be working great. Let's get her outside. I'm going to try to do this the fast and easy way and just pull this off of here. I don't have a gasket or anything yet. I'm going to run into town a little bit later today. Got to go see the old doctor, so while I'm doing it, I'll go ahead and check if I can get a gasket and a thermostat for it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this off of here. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks lovely. There we go. It don't look too bad in there. I don't know how good this thermostat is. We'll test on her. But actually, I could probably reuse that gasket. Well, I might have had a change of plans. The wife strongly objected to me using her gallon of cleaning vinegar. So we are going to end up having to just get some radiator flush. So much for home remedies. Evidently, by the time you put cleaning vinegar and baking soda, you've spent the same amount of money as a radiator flush. So there's really not a whole lot of benefit to going that route, I guess. I thought I saw we had gallons in there, and I was just going to use that. But if you're in a pinch, you can use cleaning vinegar and baking soda, so I hear. But this is CLR, that stuff for cleaning, your drain pipes and your, rust off your tub. That would also work, I believe. But it's just as easy to go to town, and since I gotta go there anyway, and get me some regular radiator flush, and no harm, no foul. So I'm sorry if I promised you a home remedy and you ended up with radiator flush. No big deal. Now I just put that on there. No gasket maker, no Permatex, no nothing, just the old gasket, because basically what I'm doing is I'm going to flush it. I'm going to go ahead and put the hose in here, and I'm going to run the car and just see if we can't, get it to flush the engine out, I'm going to open a petcock down over here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It opened up nicey. But we're going to open that up, and we're just going to run this engine with, maybe I should close it first and then get some water in there, and then we'll try it. I'm going to run the hose out here and see just how nasty this water is. Got the water hose going on slow. I'm going to go ahead and start the car up. going to wait till she warms up, and I'm going to open up the petcock. This has got one of those chop your finger off blades on the fan, so I'm going to shut the engine off, and then I'll open the petcock. Well, actually, I'll probably open it from underneath without chopping my fingers off. So I'll open the petcock once she gets warm. Just keep running clean water through it. Then I'm going to run to the store, I'll get this flush, and then we'll go ahead and do the flush. Well, I don't have to tell you that I don't like the look of that, but it's not greasy. I don't think it's oil. I think it's just cleaning out whatever gunk is in there. I got the hose going really, really slow. Okay, that's beyond really slow. I'll keep going. Just to kind of keep up with the petcock being open. And she's purging herself. It looks like it's got oil in there, but it's not greasy at all. I think it's just taking the crud out of there. We're just going to let it run like that for a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go test on the thermostat, which I'm pretty sure is bad. I'm going to use a heat gun. Put it on the thermostat and see if she opens. Because that car is running cool as a cucumber with no thermostat in it. As you can hear it in the background probably, I got her idled up so she'll push all that fluid out of there. Just keep on running it until that fluid's clean. And I'll let you guys sit here and watch and see if this thermostat works. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna. There. Now I ain't gonna hold it. I don't think it's gonna open. We'll stop at the parts store on the way home, and we'll get ourselves another thermostat. I sure hope that foamy stuff isn't oil. It looks like coffee. It looks like oil, all that foam, but it could just be a bunch of air in the system. And mix it with that dirty water, because it's not greasy at all. And usually, if it's oil, you'll feel that oil film. So now if my bench starts to catch on fire, and this thermostat still hasn't opened, well, we'll know. There's probably so much oil and grease and stuff embedded in this wood. I'm surprised it hasn't caught. Oh, it opened. Oh my. Well, it opened up. So maybe that ain't the problem. Yeah, she opened. Look at that. See if we can get you a close-up of that. See if I can do this without making it seem like totally... Yeah, I can't get the camera off. There we go. But you can see she's wide open. Well, yeah. She's wide open. And you'll see she's starting to close as she cools off. Yeah, she's pretty warm. Probably pick her up and put her on the floor, and she'll cool off a lot faster on that cold concrete floor. Okay, she'll close a lot faster on this cold concrete floor. Okay, maybe it's stuck because it ain't moving, and I'm holding it in my hand, so it should be closing. Oop. I'm like the worst cameraman ever. I mean, it's hot, but I mean, I can touch it, so it can't be. This is hot though. This little back piece. That's pretty hot. But I set it on that cold floor. It should cool down pretty quick on that cold floor. And it's not. I think I'm going to pick up a new thermostat just to be safe. Let's see if she'll do a burnout. finally, got to drive the old girl. But in true Gremlin fashion, she's got a sizable, and I mean sizable, rear main leak. But, you know, we can add oil for a while. And I got no taillights or blinkers. I took a quick minute to try to remedy those two things, but no blinkers, no taillights, those are probably related. I do have brake lights, I do have headlights. So I'm going to chase that down. That very well could just be a fuse. I did check the fuses, but even though the fuses themselves may be good, the little fuse holders are pretty corroded. So I'm going to get in there and dig into that. That's not going to be a video because, you know, chasing down wiring is just really boring. Nonetheless, she's a driver. She even burns a little rubber. Single smoker. I kind of knew that. When I was building this, I was building a driver, not a race car. Probably will never put a posi rear end in it because she's got a little 290 two-barrel. But she's drivable. Going to give her a bath and just pretty much just drive her. I was looking forward to taking her to work with me a few times, and I may do that, but not until I have some blinkers. So this is going to be the conclusion of the Gremlin. I don't really have, I will be doing a rear main seal on it before too terribly long. I wish, you know, this will be a hindsight's 2020. Folks, if you're watching this, which if you're not watching this, you're not going to hear what I'm saying anyway. So that was a stupid thing to say. Here's my sign. Remember those? If you have an engine out, and no matter how good you think it may run, or how good somebody says it will run, do yourself a favor while it's out. Put in a new front and rear seal. For the amount of time it takes, you've got it out. I had it sitting on a stand. It would have been nothing to pull the pan and put in a rear main seal, put in a front seal. The front seal's not leaking though, but the rear main sure is. I had all of that stuff out for a long, had the transmission out twice, 3 times maybe. Could have pulled that flywheel off, put it on there, and put a rear main in it, and I wouldn't be telling you that I need a rear main. Nonetheless, she's running, she's driving. This is the end of the series on the Gremlin. 4-speed swap is a success. V8 swap is a success, except for I forgot to change the rear main, or didn't change the rear main, but it's still a success. Just have to add a quart of oil every once in a while. She runs good, a little bit of upper valve train noise, hoping that'll go away over time. I've actually got radiator flush still in it. I'll finish the radiator flush, but it doesn't get hot at all anymore. So we have succeeded in fixing the don't get hot thing. So really, aside from a little bit of oil leaking, she's good. Fixed the exhaust because that was clanking pretty hard. When I took it for a ride with that 3-speed, the chatter on the clutch was horrendous. This clutch, no chatter. So I think I've succeeded in making myself a driver. Eventually, I will put her back on a lift, change the rear main. I may or may not video that. Probably will. But next week, we can look forward to something different. Let's see, what are we going to do next week? My truck needs a front brake. The rotor is grinding on there. Might do that. Then, maybe, or, I may, depends on rain or shine, I may go ahead and start putting the engine together for the Mad AMX project. What do you think of that idea? So if it's raining, I just might do the Mad AMX deal there. I don't know. If you're watching this and you want to put some input in there, let me know. Do you want to see me put front discs and let's see, a disc and a caliper on my 1-ton truck, or do you want to see me get started on the 400 and something cubic inch engine, supercharged engine for the Mad AMX project, which is a Chevrolet motor. So for you purists, and Leonard, yes, I know it's a Chevy motor, but we explained all that before. So I'll be putting that supercharged engine together soon, if not next week. Or we can do the truck, or maybe something else. You can go back into the videos of all of my projects come up. I know a lot of you guys will probably say, let's do the Barracuda, let's do the Barracuda. We're not ready to do the Barracuda. I'm still collecting parts. I've got a lot of them. I've got to get out in the yard, and I might do that. If it's nice out, we may go cut the front end off that I need to repair the Barracuda. That might be. So there you go. Do you want to go out in the yard and start drilling the spot welds on putting the inner fenders and radiator support for the Barracuda? We could do that. So if you'd rather see us start on the 73 Barracuda, 72 Barracuda, one of them. If you want to see that, we can go cut spot welds if it's not raining. Let's do that. No, nope, I want to wait for you guys. What do you want to see? Start working on the Barracuda, start working on the Mad AMX engine, or that's all I got for now. One of those. You let me know. I got to fix the Cadillac again because I hit a deer. That's a whole other ballgame, but we don't have the parts for that. So let me know what you guys want to see. Those are your three options. Or if you want to go back in that video of what I'm going to get done, you might see something else that I can do. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next, and we'll do it. Okay? If it's raining, outside stuff's not an option. If it's not raining, those are your options. You let me know what you want to see. Oh, I guess that's the end of this video. So please subscribe. Thank you for you all that are already subscribed. I appreciate you a lot. For those who haven't subscribed yet, why not? Gotta subscribe. Helps me out a lot, and it costs you. How much in life is free? You know what I mean? Take advantage of it before they start charging for that stuff. I would greatly appreciate it if you enjoyed these videos. I'm going to make them regardless because I'm out here. And I like sharing my passion with other people. But please subscribe. Please hit the like button. See ya.